Hi, I'm Duane Baker, President of the BERC Group, and I'm here today with Lisa Law, Research Associate with the BERC Group. I know you've been on a lot of these, driving all over the country and involved with these. So what should a staff expect to get the day started?
So normally we'll show up to the school between a half an hour to an hour before the school day starts, and we will check in with the front office, sign in, get our name badges and things like that taken care of. And we'll probably be asking for several things to get our schedule for the day. So we'll need a master schedule, a list of the teachers, a map of the building, things like that.
And then talk to me a little bit about the classroom observation portion of this. How should people be prepared for that?
So the teachers will know that we're coming that day, and so the team will go out into the school and observe classrooms for about 25 to 30 minutes. And so teachers should just be prepared, just do their normal day of teaching, and
they don't need to do anything special for the BERC observer.
No, we're just there to see what the average day looks like in a classroom and what students are learning.
And how many BERC researchers will be in a classroom at any given time?
Between 1 and 2 usually.
Okay. And one of the things I've always really liked is that we try to calibrate often, and so sometimes there would be 2 people in the classroom, maybe at the beginning of the day, but normally just 1 person, and they might come in at the beginning of the period, middle of the period, end of the period. Like, when will they come in?
So depending on the structure of the period at that particular school, if it's a an hour-long period, 1 teacher will be observed at the first half and 1 teacher will be observed at the second half. So it really depends on how the schedule works out. If we come into a classroom and it looks like they're testing, we would never stay and observe tests or things like that.
Okay, so that's a good point. We're in there. We want a normal day. Teachers don't have to do anything special to set up for us. If they happen to be giving a test during that time period, we're able to pick that up, and then we don't observe that teacher that day then?
If the teacher can tell us that they won't be doing that test all day, if they have a period where they're doing something else, then we can try to come back then.
Okay, so if we get a chance to chat with the teacher a little bit and ask for when would be a good time to come back, we can set that up for them usually.
We try to be as least disruptive to the classroom as we can, so if we have a chance to chat with the teacher and they're able to tell us an easier time for us to come back and see them, we try to accommodate that. No,
I think that's great. It's probable that some of these schools might have substitutes that day, or student teachers, or that kind of thing. We don't want that to go necessarily into their data, so how do we work around that?
So that's one of the things we'll ask at the beginning of the day, is for that information. If there are subs or student teachers, if it's just during a certain period, we'll try to work around that and come back at a better time. But typically we wouldn't see a sub or a student teacher unless it's a sub that's in the building for a really long time, so it's kind of part of their school community. I
think it'd be important to talk about what we're looking for while we're in the classroom. Now, we use a STAR classroom observation protocol. Tell everybody just like the main elements related to the STAR protocol and what a typical observation, like 30 minutes, looks like.
Sure. Well, like you said, we're using the protocol, which is looking at skills, knowledge, thinking, application, and relationships. And each 5 of those components have several indicators that we're looking for, some having to do with the teacher and some having to do with what the students are learning.
And as far as the data goes, then the researcher will look through skills, and then they're going to look through knowledge, thinking, application, relationships, and in the end, the overall lesson is there's some sort of a rating for the overall lesson to the extent to which it's aligned with powerful teaching and learning.
Right.
And then that goes into a database. And then what about the data that comes back from this related to the teachers?
So we give each teacher a code, actually, so they're not even referred to by their name on the protocol. And then we collect all that and we aggregate it, and we never present schools any data with a specific teacher's data. So everything is anonymous in the sense that it's a picture of the whole school. It's just a snapshot. We know we've only been in there for a half a period maybe, so we don't expect that we've seen what you do every single day as a teacher. We know that we might have seen you at a weird time, but it's just kind of just a quick look and a general feel of what's going on and what the students are experiencing at that school.
You bet. Now, Lisa, what about if a teacher wants to know how their classroom scored, so to speak? If they when they get the report back, if they wanted to know how they were rated in their classroom, what would we do?
We would just explain that we keep these things anonymous. It's part of what protects the teacher and should help them feel more comfortable about us being there, and so they can see their data within the context of what the rest of the school looks like.
Okay, so even if they wanted to see it, we would say, That's just really not the purpose of it. I'm so sorry. You know, this is actually just a school-wide look at this point. Okay, and I agree with you that that should help people feel comfortable that we're not going to share it. It's school-wide, and but you'll be able to see the aggregate school-wide data.
Right.
Now we've conducted over 30,000 classroom observations in this. You know, conducting it this way, and it correlates with student achievement. We know that it's a really powerful tool. It's really powerful data, but we always do keep in mind that it is a snapshot in time. We want people to be able to process through the data and continue to reflect through it. But it ends up being a really good piece of data for people to consider in their school improvement. I'm so proud of the work that the whole team does, and really appreciate your leadership out there. And I think it's kind of fun that some of the folks that might be watching the video would get to see you out there. And so anyway, we hope that this was helpful for you. We want the process to be one that's inviting. We really do believe that the information you're going to be receiving is going to be valuable to your school. We appreciate the fact that you let us work with you, and we look forward to working with you very soon. If you need any more information, please look us up on BERCgroup.com, and if you have any specific questions, just select Contact Us, and we will be back in touch with you right away. So we really wish you well in all of your work.